Testing, testing. Good morning, gang. Good morning again. That was good fun. That was great fun. That was great fun. I'm so glad those guys are doing this in public, you know, not being embarrassed about it, not trying to hide anything. Can you hear me now? It's okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So she came down too fast, eh? There was supposed to be 3, well, there was only 2, so it came down too fast, so the timing got wrong. The landing gear would have thought, oops, I think we're coming down. Didn't have time to deploy, so. Great fun. I'm full of admiration for those people and what they're doing, with one qualification. You know, I think the idea about going to Mars is a big mistake. I don't know, what do I know about this? But you know, I'm a woodblock printmaker. But the level of difficulty compared to putting a moon base up is so stupendously more difficult. And the distance and lack of backup. If you're trying to build a moon base, you can like go up there and get people back. But you know, so I don't know why they're so fixated on Mars. You know, build a moon base. It was great fun to watch that. I'm really glad about the timing too. so. Okay, what's going on? Actually, you just saw. This is going to be today's show and tell. It's a nice little end, good show and tell. And we're coming down. We had that giant, massive thing the other day. We're coming down to one tiny little envelope today, but it's okay. It's all in the game. But before that, we have some work to do. Yeah, I get it. I mean, try the hard stuff, I get it, but setting up a moon base is hard enough, you know? It's hard enough. Mars, you know? It's such a long way away. Okay, what should we do here? Also, I don't know who Kennedy's speechwriter was for that phrase, but all the time, that particular phrase, the one you're quoting here, has bugged me for all these years. I get it. We choose to go to the moon and these other things, not because they're easy. And these other things. It's sort of like a list of stuff that he forgot what they were, you know. Not great speechwriting, I think, but the speech itself, fabulous. The other thing, too, that I'm curious, there's probably an answer for this, but we saw that attempted landing, and they've got these little tiny feet. This thing is going to land, and it's going to land on a new planet where there's no concrete pad. With those little tiny feet, and it's tall and thin. I guess they've got this worked out, but is it actually going to stay upright when there's no nice concrete pad for it? Yeah, no, John, I know what it is, but when you get to your punchline, I wouldn't have wrapped it up about and these other things. I know they're referenced earlier in the speech, but to me that's just clumsy speech writing. There would have been a better way to say this than using the phrase and the other things, you know, whatever. Who am I to criticize? One of the greatest speeches in the 20th century, but whatever. Okay, so let's get focused here. After that wonderful excitement, let's get down to that was so much fun to watch. You know, hopefully that was so much fun to watch. I wish there had been a better commentary, but I can understand why they don't do commentary live on something like that. But it'll be fun to watch a playback later with commentary. So. You think about carving wet versus dry wood? I don't know if you've got. When you say wet, you don't mean water on it. You mean not. I know. I mean fresh. Whatever. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It moves too much. After you've done your job, the wood has to be stable. The shape we carve into it, we want it to stay. Okay, genau. So drying prints, we do ours, we've got the log, we split it into bigger chunks, thick chunks, like 20, 30 centimeters. They're drying upstairs on the roof all over the place. After we do 1 or sometimes 2 years at that stage, we then slice it thinner and dry it for another year after it's been sliced thinner. We don't try and bring it all the way down. It'll just split all over the place. Paper is out, yes. Ishikawa-san is up there but already working. I took the paper out about 6 o'clock, and she's now printing. She came about 6:20, 6:30 or so. She'd like a bit more time, She comes so early, 6:30. Even if I take it out at 6 o'clock, it's still really kind of cold and hard at 6:30. But we've talked about this, She knows she can't ask me to get up any earlier than 6 o'clock to do this. Like she can't say, I want to come at 6:30, please get up at 4:30 and take my paper out, and I'm not really sort of willing to do that. I'm willing to get up at 6 o'clock and take it out. And if she wants to come at 6:30, that's her own lookout, So there's a limit to the level of cooperation that I'm going to do for her. So. But yes, the paper is out. So only one today up there. Lei-chan will be in tomorrow, I think, printing. So. I'd heard, Aoyama-san told me that Ayumi-san will be coming yesterday or today. So she didn't come yesterday, so I guess she's coming today. She's going to come and say hello and chat and talk about how she's doing. And he also mentioned she's going to clean up her desk. So that means she won't be printing during her pregnancy. I thought I might get a couple of months where she'd do work for us in the middle of her pregnancy, but it seems she's decided to lay out. So she's going to come and clean up her stuff, and then it'll be a couple of years before we see her again, Unless she has another baby, and then it'll be even more. So I don't know. Something I can mention, we're going to have a show and tell later on in the stream, and I need a bit of research done for this. We can do this in advance. The item that we're going to show today on the show and tell later actually came, it turned out it had a price sticker on it. The person back in the original era bought this thing, and it says Yonju sen, which is 40 sen. 40 sen, and this would be maybe Taisho. This would be about 100 years ago exactly, maybe 1920, somewhere around there. So while we're waiting for it to show you those prints, can somebody help try and figure out what's that worth in real money? 40 sen in about 1920. What would that actually be in like some kind of money that we would understand, I have no idea. Sen is the old division of a yen. We have yen now, and these days we have sen. Sen, the word sen means 1,000. So sen yen these days means 1,000 yen. It's bigger than a yen. But back in the old days, sen was one of the divisions of a yen. 1 yen was divided into 100 sen. So the price on this object, 40 sen, meant it was 40% of a yen. But I have no idea what it means in economic terms here. This is a hard piece of wood. With the money conversions, lots of conversations going on, I hope. Okay, whatever. I don't know if you can hear the noise behind me. You know, this building, our own building, there's stairs going up, of course. And right there, right actually over my head, the stairs going up to the second floor are over my head. And when people in our own building walk up and down, I sort of hear, they're concrete steps, so they're pretty heavy, but I hear something. And this morning I'm hearing people going up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's obviously it's not our building here, but it must be next door to the construction building. Their own staircase is the same shape and structure as ours on the other side of the wall. So the two staircases are side by side. So I'm hearing people go up and down, up and down. I keep thinking Ishikawa-san's coming down, but I don't think she is. So. This is a pretty hard, crispy piece of wood here. This wood is very old now. It's easily 100 years old. We talked about this when I made the first print in this next year's series. And this is cut from the same slab. So it's the same piece of wood that I carved on for the first print. And it would have been used the first time round somewhere, it's a bit hard to tell, but somewhere around 100 years ago or so, in Taisho era. It seems that the block was used for carving. So that means the tree would have been, you tell me, 50, 60 years before that. So this piece of wood I'm carving now would have started its growth somewhere in the 1850s, 1860s, somewhere around there. And I get really such a kick out of that. You know, there was a woodblock print made back in the 1920s of a piece of wood, and the wood was thick enough that buried deep inside it there was, you know, there was wood, and we've shaved off the top surface, exposed the inner face of that block, and it's now becoming another woodblock print. You know. That's such a cool thing, I think. I get a kick out of that. You know, it's maybe nothing, but so this particular structure that we're looking at right here, it slept for all those years. It slept inside a tree for 50, 60 years. a bit thin there, I think. Oops. It's okay. It'll be all right. I should pay more attention over this. Sorry about this. Excuse me. How old is the oldest wood Dave has used was? I don't really know. I know in recent years the wood we're using is not very old because we're buying pieces of trees. I know when I was making prints in the earlier days, buying from the commercial supplier, he would have had wood that was aged properly, 6, 7, 8 years. Cherry trees usually grow 50, 60 years before they get big enough to be taken down. So not the wood I've been using over the years is not specifically old. A piece like this would perhaps be one of the oldest pieces we've ever used. I know. And two days ago too, Aoi Emerson and I got more. We got more wood from I told you about Harada-san, the guy the man who gave me the bench here. His father died back in the 1960s, and he did give us a bunch of quote junk wood slabs from his father's workroom. Just pieces, one piece, one piece, one piece, not full sets of wood blocks for making prints, but just sort of random pieces that he'd had over the years. And some of those look quite old, and we will be running those into our system as we get a chance to. So this is a hobby. This is my job. We have a publishing company here. New members don't know what's going on here. This is a publishing company, Moko Hankan in Tokyo, and we publish new woodblock prints. So this carving is one of the prints that we will be publishing. The print I'm carving right now, this is the one that will be published next May. We're starting work on it now. This will be the print we publish in May. We don't do commissions or anything. I'm sorry. We are totally full up with our own work. So they're explaining. Okay, good. So. grab the flower here then, next. This one's going to take a while, you know, of course. All of this stuff. There's leaves, open flowers, closed flowers, all the background here. It's going to take a long time before we even get to the main event, the actual creature here. Creature. Hedging my bets. The main creature, and then down at the bottom there's more. Group of 3 of them here. This is going to take a while. The construction truck is running late. I think what's happening today in next door, what happened is just before the stream started, when that test flight was still going on, a couple of guys came with a dolly. They must have parked their truck a block or so away in one of the parking lots. And a couple of guys came with a dolly full of cases of gear. They went inside next door. So I don't know what it is. It's an electrical crew or something who is doing one specific job. They came with their gear. So they're not very noisy this morning too either. So. Did I talk to the builders about the street camp? No, I know it's different guys all the time, every day. So there's no point explaining what's going on because it's always just new people every day. So it doesn't matter. So. Someone's got a new Kio Heroes print. Thank you very much. Good. They're coming from Jed, right? Jed's the one who does those. So yeah. So. There's a story in my newsfeed this morning about Twitch, and no idea why I would drop in my newsfeed, but whatever. And it wasn't a positive story. It was about, I guess there's been trouble, whatever, on lots of this, on many Twitch streams, and they're sort of trying to crack down on abusive behavior and stuff like this. And it's sad to read that, but certainly no reflection on our own Twitch channel here. I don't think we get much abusive behavior here, you know. I didn't really understand all the nuances of what the story was about because it differs so much from our own experience here, you know. It seemed to mention abuse directed at creators, and it's not something so far we've had a problem with here, so maybe I should keep my fingers crossed, who knows, whatever. you're asking about the printing stream, Yesterday I was printing, and I thought, it's something I should get back to doing on stream sometimes. I was printing, I got a demand. I guess that's the only word to use it. I got a demand from one of the ladies in our Ome shipping room. They let me know when stock is getting low on stuff and whatever, and then they make sure, Dave, are you on top of it? We're getting low on Japan Journey number 12. Please get, I'm okay. I'm on it. I've seen the inventory. It's scheduled for a printer, whatever. So I'm here trying to delegate the printers with different jobs. We watch the inventory go down. We've got our new projects coming up, and I've got to balance all those things and sort the work out between our printers. And then I'll get a comment from a printer, she's pregnant, can't do this, somebody else wants to work, whatever. That's my main job, is balancing all these things. Anyway, whatever. There's one particular job. It's the print with the young girl in what we call the onsen print, the young girl in the water. It's an extremely simple print, and they all hate it. Every single one of our printers hates it because it's so difficult. It's so simple, it's really, really, really difficult. And we were getting low on it. A month ago we were getting low, and Yasui said, please, whatever, get somebody going on this. And I tried to find a printer who would take it. And none of them will take this job. And we're getting lower in stock, and none of them will take this job. And then Cameron jumped in, I guess, a while ago. He said, Dave, look, we're out of this. What are you going to do about this? Something, I don't remember exactly. So anyway, long story short, 2 days ago, I did a batch myself. And as I was doing them, I thought, geez, I should have saved this for the stream and done it on the stream. But in general, the reason we don't is exactly what's happening now. I can put the carving knife down and look at the stream and see, and then talk to you for a minute and then go back to carving, and it's no problem. This thing will wait. But you can't do that with printing. Even when I was doing it a couple of nights ago, fine, I'm printing. Oops, looks, the needle did, just put my brush down, make the adjustment in the block over a period of 30 seconds or so, and when I come back, the moisture level is no good anymore. So you can't stop when you're printing. You can't fool around and chat with people and talk and look aside. And when there's a printer in the room, and the rule is you don't talk to them, you just leave them alone. So it's not that I've been avoiding printing on the stream, it's just really difficult to do it properly. It's just the fact of life with that thing, So, but I should have maybe tried to do that the other day when I was printing these things. It's a simple 2-color print. We did it live back at the beginning on stream. Oh, Cameron's here. Sorry, Cameron, it's done. They're gone. They're on the way to Ome. They were finished. I did them 2 nights ago, finished them up in the morning, wrapped them up yesterday, sent them to Ome. Ome will be opening that package this morning. So please, I'm off the hook now. Thank you. Look at Cameron. Woo, so good. That's the way to do this, actually. That would be a way to do this. I don't know, the way Cameron and I did that live stream 3 years ago, the 3-hour stream, I cut and printed and focused on my work, and Cameron read the chat, and kept me in touch with the conversation. So that would be one way to do this. If I had a sidekick here, we can do some printing streams. Yes. We can do some printing streams. Or we do it like there's going to be a printing stream. Dave is not even going to look at the computer. He is just going to get the work ready, put the cameras on the stream, and please understand, he can't follow the chat. That would be another way to do this. And you guys take care of yourself, and I just do my printing for 90 minutes. That's another way to do that. So let me keep those in mind. Let's do that. Let's keep those in mind. But I get it. It's boring to see the same thing day after day after day. I'm sorry. But there is a reason for this. Who's in Ome now? The packaging ladies. Yes, of course. Nobody lives there. It's the workroom downstairs. The ladies come. I think today's shift is Yasui-san. They usually come one at a time. They have big families. And they're not, the rule here in Japan is you avoid gathering together in the room. So they take turns coming one day at a time. So. Yeah, John's on. Okay, next time you're here, let's do this. It's a date. No, boring. I didn't mean boring, but I meant it's a lot of the same thing again and again and again and again. you've seen me cut a line, I'm going to cut another line and another line. So it's not, boring is not the right word, but I would like to show more of our process, you know. There's lots more things we do here that just are not easily amenable to streaming. So, do I live nearby? No, not at all. I don't. If I live 2 hours away, but I park my body here every evening. So, where I live now, it's an undefined question. You know. Where is home? I don't know. The other thing about printing streams is another good way to do this, and this was talked about a lot in the past. Another good way to do this is, for example, Ishikawa-san's upstairs right now. She's printing right now as we speak. Ishikawa-san's upstairs printing. And what would be a cool way to run a stream is simply this morning's stream could have been run from the printing room upstairs. We put the camera on her while she prints, and Dave sits there, and Dave's the sidekick. He can pan the camera around, do this, do that, show what's going on, and I can explain what she's doing, read the chat, answer the questions, have conversation, and you can see the prints coming off her block. That would be great. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. She doesn't want that, you know. Tell you what, if you think that would be a good idea, I'm being a little bit devious here. If you think that would be a cool thing to do, for us to watch Ishikawa-san work, don't you have to watch your face? We could make a rule. We won't show your face. Don't worry about it. We'll just put it on your hands and stuff like this. If you think this would be a good idea, make some comments about this. Oh, yeah, let's do this, explain. So that I can take this and show her this afternoon. Ishikawa-san, what do you think about this? Wait. Just look, here's the comments from the people. Let's try and talk her into this. So, and we could actually do that. She's here at 6:30. No problem. I can get the stream ready. See if you can talk her into it. Okay, Ishikawa-san, thanks. Comments, comments, comments. Good, good. It's not passing the buck. It's just organizing stuff. I'll talk to her this afternoon. See what we can do. I'll talk to her. Names for this series, that's another deadline. It's right in front of me now. It's right in front of me. It's not that I'm unconvinced. It's that, whatever. There's a phrase out there that will just do it. But I'm now my back is against the wall. I've got to come up with something here soon. And Cameron too, he was trying to, of course, throw in ideas into the ring about this stuff. So about the next year's series, And some of the ideas Cameron threw out the other day, I won't bring it up. Whatever. We're being serious here sometimes. We're being not so serious sometimes. So there's all kinds of joke names being thrown around the table as well. So. Zukio, eh? So there could be something. It's just such a bad pun that we should do it. I don't know. Get some attention. I don't know. Not sure where that's from. Is that next door? Or is that down the street in the shrouded building? I don't know. There is so much construction now going on in this district, Yesterday afternoon, I wandered out. I went over to Starbucks to get a cup of tea in the afternoon, I don't actually usually get out in the district in working hours. I go out in the evening, go out for dinner, go out to get dinner and stuff like that. But I don't usually walk around here so much in the middle of the afternoon, 3 o'clock or so. So yesterday I was out there strolling over to Starbucks, and I was astonished actually too at how much construction was going on, See, both things are true at the same time. There's any number of shops here now that are closed, and it says tenant boshu, looking for tenants. This is true. We've never seen this before. There are any number. I could list a dozen of them right now within a few blocks of this. So that's bad news. Things are really down. We're depressed. But on the other hand, what's also true is there's so many new shops opening. Major construction going on. You can see 2 of them right here, next door and down the street. And this is not unusual. Every street around here has the same thing. So there's a massive, what's the word? I don't know. A huge number of shops are closing and they're still empty. And yet there's any number of new ventures now coming in. What do they call it when the economy changes and old businesses die and new businesses come up? There's a creative destruction or something, one of these sort of things. And that's absolutely, it's happening right in front of me here every day. And what normally happens, this thing happens slowly over a period of years, that one goes down, this one comes up. Now there's sort of years and years of change, or a decade of change, is all being compressed into this like 1 year period or so. There's a massive change happening in this district, and for all I know, it's happening all over the place, all over Tokyo. Maybe all over the world, I've got no idea, but it's a massive change happening. It's not gentrification, no. It's just a change in mood of the district and all. But there was a story, if I should link this, someone like John who comes to Tokyo frequently and who sort of knows Tokyo quite well. There's a story that came up yesterday. John, this will be really interesting for you, I think. It's here it is. Trends in Tokyo in 2020, and it's stuff that I had never heard of, and it's how this town is revitalizing, and all kinds of new stuff are coming online. Look at this. It's a listicle article, whatever, but there's someone like John who knows Tokyo will see this. Tell you, when this virus thing is over, when the vaccines have really spread out, and when we come out of this thing, which presumably we are going to do as a society, wow. What is glamping? Glamping is glamorous camping. It's a thing. The Japanese didn't invent this. Glamorous camping. It's all over the place. And people that would like the outdoor experience, but they don't want bugs, and they want the hot bath, whatever. Glamorous camping. It's not Dave's cup of tea, but it's a thing. But yeah, things are changing so much, I guess as the owner / manager of this business, it's I'm supposed to be sort of on top of these things, making sure that we're positioned well for the new future and all that kind of stuff, and blah 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 blah. Sort of both things are true right now. We're sort of in survival mode, just trying to stay alive and keep going and pay our rent and keep the staff members, keep people paid. But it's not just enough to be in survival mode. It's a question of being in, what's coming down the pipe mode, and am I going to be able to handle it, and what's our position in the new world and stuff like this. We've got to try and do both things. Some of the new businesses that are opening up here, you look at them and you think, my God, how is this ever going to survive? Just around the corner from me here on Orange Door, there's probably a web page for it. Just around the corner, Orange Door, there's a new little tiny shop. It's narrower than ours. It's about half the size of ours. And absolutely, I could touch both sides of the building with my hands. And they've renovated the entire building. It's like up 3 stories. And the front of it, and it looks like something that would be on a gorgeous street in Motesando or something. And they sell these little tiny cupcakes of vanilla cake. And they're in a cupcake that I tell you is it's not 2 inches deep, and it's just a tiny, tiny little cupcake. And they've got them on the window, and they've got these cones ready outside for all the lineups. They're going to handle the lineups when they come. There wasn't any lineup yesterday. And they've got this little window where you open the window and you buy it and you walk away with a cupcake thing. And it's vanilla something cupcake. And they're 600 yen each for something you go, done. And I guess they are hoping to be, the next big thing. And they've got their cones and chains already outside for controlling the lineups, And I stopped and looked at it and thought, really? Really? Here in Asakusa? But what do I know? What do I know? My shop's closed. At least they're open. And there's another one next door to them, about 2 doors down. There's a place called Funawa. And this is a very, very old established confectionery here in Asakusa. They've been in business since the year dot. They know what they're doing. They've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different shops in Asakusa, each one with a different sort of, what's the word? I don't know. A different approach to their business. So they're covering lots of bases. And they become their own competitor. When they see an empty shop nearby them, they rent it and open a business instead of somebody else competing with them. Anyway, they've opened an ice cream window. It was a place there was nothing there a week ago, and now it's there. They've popped a hole in one of their buildings, and they've put a station where you come to the window as a takeout. Takeout is a big deal here now, whatever. And there's a girl standing inside. She's got an apron and a little nurse-type hat. She's a waitress-type thing. And she's standing there waiting for your order. And it's ice cream cones. And this is December, coming into January, coming into February. And she's standing in the window to sell ice cream cones. And the price list is there on the window. I walked by. I just don't understand the world anymore here. I should really get my camera out, video some of these things, and put a little video at the end of one of our next YouTube videos, so. Ice cream in the winter, I guess it's a thing. It must be a thing. They know what they're doing. But whatever. The girl, she looked so lonely standing in the window. The window's open. She must have been freezing standing in the open window. She probably got a heater on her bum or something, Standing in the window, freezing, selling ice cream. She's probably thinking, "What am I doing here? How did I get into this?" So. There is so much going on in this district. It just never ends. It doesn't sleep either, So. I guess it's all back and forth. If that girl selling ice cream, if she could see what is going on at this side, there's a place there in Asakusa where a guy's sitting at a desk and he's chopping up pieces of wood, and she'd think, yeah, right, like that's a viable business, So. But one overriding trend here, and all these things I've been mentioning, shops closing, shops opening, shops closing, shops opening. The shops that have closed, for the most part, have been places that sell things, stuff. Jewelry shop is closed, the print shop's closed, whatever, that sort of stuff. The things where you would buy objects, things, they're closing. And what's opening, almost all of them, I can't even think of any exceptions. The ones that are opening are all food and drink. So clearly, part of this is it's not just a virus-related thing. Part of this is this district is changing to becoming a place where people go to do the walking around town, go to the temple, and eat and drink. So that makes a lot of sense. So the shopping is gone, the doing and things are what's coming up. So. There's not manufacturing. There's been no manufacturing in Asakusa, but there was, shopping. The shoe store, the handbag store, the whatever. It's becoming, of course, services, and people come here for the entertainment, to do things and to eat and drink. Absolutely. And of the giant antenna shop that was here, the place called Marugoto Nippon. John, you must have known this. The 4-story, the Richmond Hotel across the street, and the bottom 4 floors were antenna shops from all over Japan. History, finished, gone. They're renovating it now. And they haven't announced what it's going to be, but they're busy. They've decided, and they're busy renovating the first 4 stories. And I can guess, I know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be bars and restaurants, bars and restaurants. So. I know in that Tokyo link I just sent you a few minutes ago, there's one of those in there. It's indoors, but it looks like a street of small bars, but it's all indoors. It's all warm, but a street of little bars. And my guess, without any knowledge of what's going in that new building over there, is 4 stories of this. Bars, restaurants, all huddled together and crimped together. No, first floors, no. The hotel starts at the 5th floor and goes up. This is the Richmond International. There's 2 Richmond hotels here. It was antenna shops from all over Japan. They thought they had a great idea because so many tourists come to Japan, not just foreign tourists, but Japanese tourists. Because so many tourists come to Asakusa, they thought it would be a great idea to have antenna shops from all over the country located here in Asakusa. Didn't make any sense, didn't happen. And then Corona was the final bullet. But they don't fool around too. Once they've made their decision, that's it. Close the doors, gut it, throw the crap out, build something else and start again. They don't fool around. How's our time? I'm okay, right? Oh, 9:10. Well, just a few more minutes left. Okay, no problem, no problem. Yeah, Cameron's got the question here. Where does everyone get their cash for eating out all the time? It's not families. It's not families. It's salarymen by themselves or it's young couples. You don't see, well, I guess you do see them. There's Saizeria or Denny's or whatever. But you almost never see families eating out. Never. Even though there's all these family restaurants. too, for a Japanese family, not so much Cameron. Cameron's family is still very, very, very young. But once you've got a family where the kids are now in school, you've got maybe, say, for example, you've got two kids, one of them's in elementary school, one's in middle school. You would never, ever, ever then have a chance to even eat together at home, let alone eat together in a restaurant. Because the kids' school schedule and their school club schedule dominates everything. And there's never any chance to get together as a family once you've got kids in school. So it's done. You know, Cameron's in his last legs now of having his family all together because they're still both at home. Once they're school kids and they've got clubs and stuff, that's it. The school schedule overrides everything. And even chance to sit down together at home and eat dinner together becomes very, very difficult. Ah, look at this. I thought I'd get this flower bud here finished before show and tell time, but I don't think it's going to happen here. I think we're about out of time, right? So rather than rush here, I know exactly what happens if I rush. Let me just finish this off before we do show and tell. That's a disaster. So let me just, let's go. Okay. Well, got a bit of work done. A little bit of work done, not too much, but some. Okay. Officially, SNT, show and tell time. 7-Eleven in Japan's amazing. Yeah, I tell you, 7-Eleven, this last couple of weeks, about a month ago or so, whatever, I noticed they try new foods and stuff all the time. About a month or so ago, in the in the one meal, what do you call it? One piece meal, one bowl meal section. They had a bunch of new stuff with some strange sounding Chinese names. They've got some funny Chinese kanji. They mixed them up, and anyway, they've got some Szechuan type noodle dishes in their trial foods. So I tried one of these, and I thought this was so freaking good. I got an extra one. I brought it up, and I talked to Ishikawa-san about it. She's back and forth to China all the time. Her university work was doing research on something from Chinese, and she's big into Chinese tea, and she's big into Szechuan food. So I showed her this thing from 7-Eleven, and she didn't roll her eyes. She said, "I'm already onto that." She said, "It's one of the best things I've ever had." And this is a lady, an educated Japanese lady who really understands her own topics. She has any number of experience going back and forth to Szechuan, and she digs this new 7-Eleven food, and it is so good. So I've got one in the fridge upstairs for tonight. I'm going to have the same thing at tonight's dinner. Remind me about it. I'll show you the label. It is so good. Okay, enough. Okay, we had the big show and tell the other day. Now we're going to shrink down. And what we've got here is this. Recently we had some of those envelopes. We had pochibukuro as envelopes. This is not what this is today. We've also had senshafuda, those fuda, the labels that used to be stuck up in shrines and stuff like that. And what we have here today is a blend of all these things. This is something that is rooted in those fuda, the stickers that used to go in shrines. But this is now 1920 or so, and it is now evolved from being just stickers to stick on the label of the shrine to being a collecting object. And we can tell that because this is the package. This is super rare. I've got thousands of these prints, but this is the first time ever that we've managed to get one of the original packages that they were sent in. And it hasn't been opened. It's still glued down. We're going to go inside. We're not going to do that. The original owner went in through the edge. He cut it off. And what it is, it's this. It's a shumi, hobby. Shumi no osame fuda. Osame fuda were the fuda, these labels, and osame, they're sticking up on the shrines. But this is shumi no osame fuda. Shumi is hobby. So we have now clear evidence that these things were not for use, these things were for collecting. And we have kofuda, small fuda, something's obliterated, I can't see it, but it's something 10. It's niju mai iri, 20 or 30. The kanji that would tell us how many are in there is gone, and this is package number 1, ichigo. So it's a series of these they were making, and this is something, now these are not one of those things where the sponsor groups, the groups put their money in and sponsored this and sponsored that. This is an actual commercial product for sale to collectors. And when I was a kid, I was a stamp collector, and you used to go to the shop on a C.F. Peters on Portage Avenue in Winnipeg. And he had stamps for sale in little envelopes just exactly like this. And it would be like 25 Canadian commemoratives from the 1930s, whatever. And these people in Japan are doing exactly the same thing. This is a commercial product for hobbyists. Did you get a number, John? 40 cents in 1920 was US 20, equivalent to about 260 now. Can't argue if you've done some research, but that comes in a bit lower than what I think it would be. That comes in about a quarter. I would think this is about $10. Can't argue because you've done the research and I haven't. But I would have thought this would come in at about $10. I paid just now 1,500 yen for these. Anyway, whatever, we can research this and argue and dribble. Point is, inexpensive. It's a package of inexpensive stuff. People would buy these for their collection. So Dave, when he was 10 years old, used to go to the stamp shop on Portage Avenue and buy a package of Canadian commemorative stamps. Somebody, Mr. Suzuki in Japan in 1920, went to his stationery store and bought a package of these fuda. So this is 100% a collector's thing. 100% a collector's thing. Now, what these are, now I saw this first yesterday. The guy who sold it didn't have a clue what the content was. He was just selling stuff on Yahoo. And it seems that what we've got, there's a theme to these. And the theme seems to be names of restaurants, as in the tea house restaurants, and geisha in the Gion district in Kyoto. We'll go through some of these. These are names that look like art names of geisha-type personalities. Along with, here we are, this one. This has the telephone number of the actual, I say tea house. What is it? A ryote. This is not the sex place. It's in the Gion district of Kyoto. You're going to be with very expensive dinner, highly class entertained with the dancers and whatever, and then you go. This is not a prostitutes district. This is a entertainment, sing, dance, dinner district. And they've got their phone number. And it's den for denwa, chu. Kyoto is broken up into, the different ku in the middle of Kyoto. One of them is, chu, not chuoku, what's it called? Sakkyo. The middle, anyway, it's one of the districts in Kyoto, and it's got the phone number. And the phone number is Kyoto Naka 5146. I don't see any point in phoning it now. And we have names of what seem like geisha and Michael. Now, would they have consented to have their names used like this, or were they in on the deal, or, momotaro, names of places and people and handle names? And they are all woodblock printed. Some of them now are getting a bit old. Some of them were used with a vermilion pigment. This was used with vermilion, which has oxidized. There's a wisteria emblem, a mark on this. And there's a bunch at the bottom, and again, this is just my guess. I opened this yesterday for the first time. There's some of them that are in sort of the larger format here, which are quite delicately printed with nice patterns. And then there's a group of them at the back, which are smaller scale. There's just a lantern and what looks like fukumaru, oren, fuji. And my guess, uneducated guess, is this represents a group of the Maiko-san, the young girls in training. This is the kind of names that they could have as their name handle for the smaller ones here. And the larger ones are the actual main event. These are the main people, the geisha. And there's some of them. There's ones in the back here. There's a district in Gion. Let me get through here. There, I should have sorted them out a bit more carefully. One of the district names. Where are we here? Tanaka. And they're including in groups. Each house would have had its own moyo, its own patterns, and its own samples. Here, Miyagawa-cho. This is Miyagawa-cho, and that's one of the smaller postal districts or whatever inside the Gion district itself. So this would be the name of a ryote in Miyagawa-cho. So these all represent places and people in the Gion district in Kyoto. You've obviously got more information here than out there, like little neon signs. So, and there's patterns that repeat. And my guess would be that on any given system where you've got a repeated pattern, a repeated structure, these would be women of the same specific place. And then this one here, this green, black, brown. Obviously, there's a logo involved here. There's a color scheme for that place. And people from that one would have been in the same. And we have, as I said, the price, 40 sen. 40 sen. Very cool, very interesting. All beautifully carved, beautifully printed. The next job, what I would like to do is, if I've got a bit of time for it, is they probably weren't made one at a time. There's no way you would carve a little block and print these one by one by one. But stuff like this, you can see this. There's a similar color and a similar pattern. These would have been made, and I'm just guessing here, these would have been made in a group, 4 at a time, 6 at a time, 8 at a time, whatever, carved on one longer block, printed together, and then sliced apart. And because we have one set here, what would be fun to do is to try and figure out, because they've been cut roughly, you could try and figure out which ones actually go together and how the blocks fit. Those two don't fit, but these two might fit. You can see they're cut roughly. So if you had the time for it, you could put them together like a jigsaw puzzle to try and figure out how many were done on each block. Look at this, like these. They're cut so thin, there must be something in the middle nearby that's cut fat, so you can see that they fit together. Like I have time for that. No. As to the who, where, why, where would the instigation for this come from? Would it be a company thinking, here's a good way we can make money? Would it be demand from consumers? Is it advertising sponsored by the people who run these tea houses? I really, really don't know. John. No, the price is clearly for the package. It's a sealed package that's 40 yen, and that's what the thing would have cost. It made sense. So for us, the main interest is not the historical interest about Kyoto. It's simply just pleasant, beautiful little woodblock prints. Such nice taste, you know. All carved, of course, carved and printed by hand. No, it's in tea houses. They're ryote. They're really high-class restaurants. High-class restaurants. And part of the thing you were buying there, you were buying a very beautiful dinner, which is all laid out, course, and you're buying the entertainment. The girls will dance and sing and do their fans and stuff like that. These are not houses of prostitution. These are high-class restaurants where well-off people would take honored guests to show them, I tell you, you know, how honored you are, I will take you tonight to one of these restaurants. I can't say there's never any happy ending, but the overall mood of the district there, this was not a down and dirty prostitutes district. It was a high-class entertainment. It still is, which it still is, very much so. Anyway, there we have it. I thought after showing that giant, massive thing that we showed yesterday, those 4 large prints. Soka, I did mean to mention that. We'll be showing those again. The show and tell we showed on Monday, I showed you the 3 large Hiroshige prints. The publisher, it turns out there is a note inside there what they had done. The reason there was 4 in that package, the 4th one was not matching the first 3. Hiroshige only did 3 of those giant triptychs. But the publisher 100 years ago, to try and make it into a viable commercial thing, he picked up another Hiroshige image of spring. And he made the package then into a 4 seasons package. We saw the moonlight over Kanagawa, that's autumn. We saw the Katz Mountains in Kiso, that's the winter. And we see the Naruto whirlpools, that was summer. And the publisher found another one of Hiroshige's pictures that he made up to match, to fit in, to make a set of 4 seasonal prints. So there is a method to the madness of having 4 prints there. They're pretty badly foxed, but anyway, there they are. Okay, so a very quiet, non-committal type of show and tell today here. Just a bunch of very pleasant little small woodblock prints. Some of them not so interesting, others more so. And I think this could be researched. There's probably lots of guidebooks to the Gion district in 1920. If you look up that guidebook, you would probably find many of these ladies' names listed there, top stars of the district. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Just a little quiet one today. Nothing dramatic and special. It's Thursday morning. I am now going to switch into FedEx mode. I have my deadline now. FedEx is coming at 12 o'clock today, and I have got to get a package of 500 prints all wrapped up and ready for them, because they do not want to hang around. This is our last shipment going over to America in time for Christmas. Anything else now, it ain't going to make it. It's done. Okay, thanks for saying. It's a bit of a strange stream today, eh? I got some work done, bit of a strange conversation. I'll read it on lunch when we go. I'll see you again 2 more days from now, Saturday morning for me, Friday evening for those of you who want to drop by. See you then. Thanks for stopping by.